As many of you have heard me say many times, there's so much mythology surrounding the making of Gene's movies, particularly An American in Paris and Singin' in the Rain. So I always say, don't go to Wikipedia, don't go on IMDb, don't believe anything that's on the internet, just call me and go on Gene Kelly The Legacy on Facebook, and I'll answer your questions. But I thought I'd start to dismantle some of the myths tonight. Number one, there is no milk in the water. Have any of you heard that before? They say it's printed everywhere that they put milk in the water so that you could see the raindrops, so that they would be illuminated. No, it's actually terrific cinematography and lighting. And Gene said it was really, really difficult. And the way he explained it to me was, he said, imagine if you go to a ball game and you're in the park and it starts to rain. And if you look down at the field, you don't see the raindrops. But if you tilt your head back, you see the raindrops backlit by the light in the stadium. Now, the challenge they had, for those of you who've seen this movie, is there anybody who has not seen this? Well, good for you. I didn't know who Gene Kelly was when I met him, so we're in the same boat. And they all kept talking about this thing called Singin' in the Rain that was to die for. I had no idea what that was. So don't feel bad if you haven't seen it. So the challenge you'll see as Gene, particularly, is dancing along in front of the plate glass windows. They had to backlight that rain, but make it so that you don't see that lighting equipment reflected in that glass. And they also had to make sure that Gene was lit from the front, and it was very, very tricky. And in the production notes, you'll see that many takes had to be redone because they would catch a bit of the equipment in the glass. Another little myth, you will often hear that Debbie Reynolds, that Gene did not want Debbie Reynolds in the movie. Gene absolutely wanted Debbie Reynolds in the movie. It was Arthur Freed who ran a little piece of film. He brought Gene up to his office and he ran a little piece of Abba Dabba Woo Woo with Carlton Carpenter and Debbie Reynolds. And he thought she was perfect for the role, and Gene said he thought so too. And they brought Stanley Donen up, and Stanley Donen's comment was, yeah, but can she dance? And Gene said it doesn't matter if she can't dance, because he had trained so many young people in the schools in Pittsburgh and Johnstown that he knew that you could train, make a non-dancer look like a pro. And that's what he did. He always choreographed to the lesser dancers. So he did want her in that. It is true that Gene was very, very sick when he shot the iconic Singin' in the Rain number. He did have a temperature of about 103. And that number was shot in a day and a half. And what he would do, now you have to remember, he's behind the camera, he's in front of the camera, he's behind the camera. I went on the road for the 60th anniversary of Singin' in the Rain with the great Rita Moreno. You'll see her in this as Zelda. It's the great line that Gene gets to deliver, like, "You're a real pal, Zelda." And Rita does not have a large part in this picture, but she said that she went to the set every day just to watch it being filmed because it was so exciting to watch it. But she said Gene was in constant motion, and he would be behind the camera setting the camera shots, setting lights, then he would jump down in front of the camera, change into costume, shoot the number. And then what he would do, this is all shot on the Culver City lot. They draped the stage with black tarpaulin and hung rigging for the water. And it would pour down, and after he did the take, he would go outside of the tarpaulin and lie on the sidewalk and bake the fever out of him, and then go back in and do more. Gene always said to me that he felt that Gene Hagen was the real glue that kept this picture together, that made this picture. She was nominated for an Academy Award, but lost to Gloria Graham. Gene always felt that Donald O'Connor was one of the greatest unsung heroes. He really thought he was one of the real true artists and one of the greatest improvisational comedians of all time. And the number that he does with the dummy came out of between shots. There's so much time that passes, and Donald would just sit and entertain all of Gene's assistants. He would pick up things that were on the set and make them laugh. And then they'd come in the next day and they'd say, "Donald, do that thing that you did yesterday." And he had no recollection of what he did. So Gene had his assistants, Carol Haney and Jeannie Coyne, who went on to be the second Mrs. Kelly, and write down, I'm known as the third and final one, write down everything that Donald did, and then Gene strung it together, and they added the ending to that, and Derek is correct. They did have to bring the brother in so that they could build his confidence again.